Okay. Hey, somebody else. Hey, talk over here. Talk over
Yo, check one,
here. All
two,
right, there we
warm,
go.
warm audio's in the
Good.
building at the Namm. Y'all know how we do it, man. Thank y'all for coming out, man. We so appreciate y'all. This is Warm Audio. We also have the Warm Audio Studio, which is located in Texas, Leander, Texas, better close to Austin, Texas. So if you're ever in the Austin, Texas area, the greater Central Texas area, be sure to pop by for a tour, a studio session. Come holler at any of the guys on the table for a session. We'll be more than glad and happy to help you, including myself. My name is Chris KeyZ. I like how you got me sounding right now. I'm not an artist. I'm a producer and engineer. Once again, based out of Austin, Texas. I'll let you
And my
know.
name is Matt Deslet. I'm a product marketing manager here. I'm going to moderate, ask some questions, but let's have everyone else. Let's have our engineers introduce themselves. Hello, I'm AK. I'm an engineer, record, mix at Warm Studio also.
How you doing? My name is George Pettus. I'm a producer, mix master engineer, do it all. So.
What to do? My name is Don Salute from Atlanta. I'm a recording engineer at Warm Studio. And here to have a good time. Let's do it, Dez. What you got for us? All right. Yeah, we've got a few questions. Got a few. We're going to talk about a few different subjects. We have studio questions. We've got some questions about the industry. We've got some questions about in gear specifically and how to use analog. So let's get started. Let's talk about studios first. So specifically with Warm Audio gear, how do you decide your signal chain? Like, what do what goes into your selection? Maybe something about the song or the artist. How do you build your signal chain out when you're working out of the studio? Anyone can start. You don't.
I'll start. Okay. So first, I usually want to hear what the artist is going for. So that's the part of like a kind of like a meet and greet. So when I found out what the artist is gonna do, what's like a reference, what style they're going for, then I go and I pick the mic, make sure it's cool with it, what kind of preamp to go with it, and then I decide what compressor I'm gonna use. And then once we get them in there, it's all about tuning it and getting a good sound. Then we ready to roll. I keep it pretty simple. Yep.
Yeah, I agree with the same thing. Like it's really based on the artist, their direction, what they're trying to do. So I think as engineers, producers, our job is to try to. For me, I like to have a conversation before I record. If I have time, try to get a see their ideas, what they got in their head, and by us being knowledgeable, I think our goal is to continue learning gear and be knowledgeable about the gear. So when we're choosing the gear, we just try to get them that tone that can get them there as quickly as possible. Because a lot of the analog gear, especially warm audio gear, it's already set to go, so you really don't have to do too much toning and EQ. So if you pick the right chain, like you said.
With me, my vocal chain is the Warm Audio 1073 going into the 1B. As I record the artist, I kind of like hear the on how I want to like mix the song or how I want her vocals to sound or him. And that's pretty much how I do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about a feel. I don't really go by dBs and stuff like that, but I let my ears, do all the work for me.
For me, it'll be the artist's tone, and if different microphones will give you different tones. So if an artist have a very big voice, you will want to pick a microphone that actually complements the voice. Same thing with the preamp and the compressors. So a lot of it's going to determine on the artist's vocal tone. That's kind of how I like to shoot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is we don't just set it and forget it and all that. We listen to the artist we're going to record. Every recording is different, right? Every artist's different. Every song's different, right? So you take every session. So you take a different approach, which I think that's how most of us work, right? So, and all of us love music first, right? It's about music. So, all right. So I'm going to go right into a hot topic. Analog versus digital. You're not going to get in trouble if you say you like digital or anything. No one's going to get in trouble here.
But when you go to
Get my
analog, when you
video
go
on
to
that.
digital, what are some of your favorite things to do blending the two?
All right, I'm gonna choose analog. That's what I'm gonna go with.
Oh,
Not
there,
because
there.
warm audio makes all analog, but because I actually like the sound of analog. You could match the sound digitally, but it's just something about how sound hit analog transistor and converters, the electrical currents and all that actually warm up the actual vocal or the sound that we're actually using compared to just using a digital plug-in to try to recreate a certain sound. Both of them do the job, but I would choose an analog change over digital. Even though digital could be easier, you know, you can always go back to recall a little bit faster when you use digital too. So that is an advantage. But you're talking about the sound itself, you got to choose analog.
I hear that.
Definitely analog. You know, Warm Audio has awesome gear for analog, but at the same time, at the tail end, I'll probably use some plugins just to sweeten up the actual sound. But yeah, definitely analog.
I like to definitely record with an analog preamp and compressor, and then usually when I get to the mixing process, I might use some EQ plugins, saturation. But then if I'm gonna be compressing anything in my session, like recently I just been doing it with analog.
Yep.
Like it just makes it wide. It just feels bigger to me. Like it just makes it all glued together. It sounds good. I tell people, like I have people, other engineers who haven't used analog gear, and they ask what's the difference. I tell them, for me, when I use analog, I know I'm gonna get a good sound.
Yep.
And it's about taste.
Yep.
But then when digital, for me personally, I have to search around and mess with different settings. And with analog, I can get right to it, and I can focus more on the whole mix overall instead of worried about small little things. But I still got my plugins I mess with.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Well, when I started producing, I ain't gonna lie, I came in with the digital era. I was all on that, trying to get them crack plugins like every other producer trying to get. I ain't gonna lie, we out here. I'm sorry. That was back in the day, long time ago. But I'm fortunate enough to now, going through Warm, if you get a chance to hear it, I think most people are intelligent enough to know analog is definitely the way to go. It's just you couldn't afford it. That's why I was out here. But thank God, we now have some access to, like I said, Warm gear that can give you that analog sound at an affordable price. So for me, anything I have now goes through goes through analog gear, whether I'm at the home or the studio. Is always going to be at least going into some type of analog gear for sure.
Yeah, no, I hear that. We've all got some hard drives with some crack plugins on them from back in the day.
Let's keep it real, man. Everybody, everybody
Everyone's
in
gotta
here.
come up. Everyone's got to come up. Right?
We got to start.
So I heard a lot about warmth and depth, which you guys talked about with, kind of your signal chains and choosing analog gear. Let's talk about compression a little bit. So how do you use compression creatively, right? Not just like making the levels match. Like when do you kind of use it more like an instrument, or when do you go, how is this going to work for like, whether it's this, the vocals, gluing the vocals together, beats, whatever. Like when do you kind of get creative with compression?
I'll let y'all answer. I just know real quick, it's crazy because I feel like I figured out a good sound for compression, but last week I actually did like a little session with Bryce, the owner of Warm. He came in and actually showed us how we can actually push some of the gear with the compression to get a better tone. So I'm actually got a whole new imagination of how I can use it. But I know now that you can actually go in and actually turn it up a little bit and get a different tone, not only just a distortion, but it does create a little bit more width as well.
Yeah, same, bro. I definitely took a lot from there. And one thing Bryce has been telling me since I've been there is don't be scared. Don't be scared to push it. Like, push it and dial it back in.
I was scared. Nigga.
Yeah,
I was
so,
scared.
like definitely like with the EQ, I've been definitely using adding that 10K on there when I'm EQing something on the actual hardware, and it just feels it. It fills the gap without doing too much, without overpowering the mid and the lows. It just gives it the right little touch.
Yep.
Definitely, man. My go-to is that 1B. It just does something different. You know what I mean? So that's my go-to, and it's about pushing it and how far you can take it.
Yeah. Yep.
I like using compression when I'm recording to control and tame the vocals and give me good levels on the transients. You know what I'm saying? And then some of the compressors that Warm Audio actually makes, they got a tube and an effect compressor. So depending on the type of sound that you're trying to create, you can use the compression in different ways. A tube compressor gonna give you the more warmth, and effect might kind of give you a little bit more clarity than what actually tube do. I like using the 1B, but my favorite one is going to be the new 76, the blue face one over there.
Yep.
I like the way that one sounds. Add a little grip to the vocals, along with some warmth.
Yeah.
So
People, you gotta stop being scared to record with compression on the way in.
yeah,
Because I feel like we fight so hard. You record something not so good, and then you change it and change it and change it.
Yeah.
Just make it sound better first.
I know.
You know? Just go on the way in.
yeah. Light compression. Light compression is
Yeah.
really all you need, especially when you're recording.
Well, think about back in the day in the consoles when all you had was consoles and there wasn't as much outboard gear. They would compress on the way in. They have a whole section for it. Yeah. So you were talking about vocals. I want to segue into some vocals. Do you have a specific vocal recording approach that you like to do, or like, again, we're not trying to make every artist sound the same, but is there like a process that you use where you like get them kind of set up and comfortable? Like, how do you start out with that?
Well, light compression. I start with light compression just because I don't know if I'm gonna actually need a little bit more or a little bit less depending on the dynamics of the vocalist. So I might start with small compression coming in, get them singing, get their vocals warmed up, and if I like how the compression is actually controlling them, I'll probably dial it in a little bit more just to get it a little bit more tighter. So that's how I would do it.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm the same approach as him, so,
Yep.
I hate to beat the dead horse, but it's about the same, because
Like I said.
you don't want to do too much, go crazy with it. You just give it a little taste. Because then if you compress it heavily going in, what are you gonna do when you mix it? And then when you bring it in and try to blend it with the other elements of the song, and now you got a crunchy vocal, it's muffled, and then it's way harder to get that out.
Yeah.
So you do a little bit going in, and you do the heavy stuff like you already got everything together.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys are totally right. You guys,
For-
yeah, you're for it. No, I mean, the only thing I can add is a little maybe tip is we're at the studio, so sometimes one person's in the console, another person is in the mic setting it up or whatever. So kind of like the pre-production of it. So if I have a singer that's a belter that can really go, it's nice to have somebody kind of test the mic out before and really kind of get it close to dialed in before they get there. But for the most part, I mean, same as everybody else though.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my 2 cents in. You said a word that I love. Anyone who's trying to get better at recording, other than using warm analog gear, of course, the number one thing you can do is get into pre-production. You have a good pre-production process, work with your producer, your engineer, practice, get ready. Makes all the difference.
Makes all the. And another tip, as we were talking about analog and digital, I think that's some of the advantages of going to a studio.
Yeah.
They have that analog gear and they have the professionals or people that's gonna do a lot of that stuff for you and get you prepared. So, kind of balance that out too. See what's best for you and your project.
Exactly. So we're gonna go to some industry questions. So we're gonna talk about sound design.
Start some
What kind of trends are you seeing in sound design right now? And how do you think analog hardware may have influenced some of those trends, specifically in like designing your sounds and processing some of your beats?
I don't know.
That's a pretty
I mean, can't give y'all my tips and tricks. As far as like sound design, go ahead, GP.
Sound design, well, okay, so, for those who don't know, I do work with Melba more, 21 winner, and like when I record her vocals, I try to mimic that Motown sound, what I'm saying, that she's used to, what I'm saying, so it's different ways that I go upon that, what I'm saying, because every song that she does is gonna be different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like she's into
I say the
music right now, so you know what I'm saying. So I gotta go with that house feel. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah,
I had to think about it for a
really,
second, but
I can't really explain it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's like on the spot mixing and you know what I'm saying. Whatever. It all depends on the song. Really, man. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And personally, I see trends, but I never try to like get into them.
Yep.
I always let the artist and the song and the music dictate the direction we're gonna go.
Yep.
Because if not, then I'm taking away from that's their baby.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just delivering the baby. I'm the doctor.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing it out. They pushing it out, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna make sure I catch you.
I like that. I'm gonna steal that.
I just made it up right now.
I'm gonna steal that. I'm the doctor. I'm not pushing the baby out.
Nah,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about affordability. So we talked a couple times about having some cracked software and coming up and learning. How important is it that you have quality gear that's affordable, right? So like, you know, of course, go to Warm Studios, go to a great local studio, work with professional engineers, especially if you're not sure. But if you're building up a home studio or you're trying to get something at, you know, local chain,
Yeah, let me get
how
my 2
important is
cents
it
on
to
that
get some good
shit
stuff,
off top.
you know?
Me, when people come to me and be like, yo, G, I want you to set my studio up, whatever, it's all about getting the right gear. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't like when people buy a whole bunch of gear, you know what I'm saying, and you don't use it. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Get what you need and work with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Warm Audio has affordable gear that you can purchase and get that quality sound. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
1073 is not that much. I think it's like what, like $700, $800, something like that. You know what I mean? So I mean, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Get what you need, and you'll be all right.
Yeah.
I would say learn the gear. You can buy all the affordable gear that you want. You can have a studio full of gear.
Yep.
But if you don't know how to use it, it's just a room full of gear. So I would actually spend a lot of time actually learning every single piece that you have and knowing the capabilities, the ins and outs on it, because that's what's going to make you that much better. And you know, when people actually record, they're going to actually come to you. So it is the gear, but it's also about the person who's actually using the gear too. So you gotta have the knowledge of the gear that you're using, even if it is affordable or if it's the most expensive one.
Yep.
So even once you like learn and you get the knowledge of the gear, you put your own twist on it, your own spin, create your own sound.
Yep.
So I think it's really about learning piece by piece the gear that you do have.
Yep.
It's like I said, you can buy all the equipment in the world, but if you don't know how to use it, it ain't gonna be no service.
Yeah, that makes me crazy. People do that with monitors, and they buy new monitors every 6 months. Like, you don't even know what they sound like.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, why are you buying new monitors, dude? Live with them for a couple of years. You know what I mean? Learn the room, learn the gear. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm
for
with
sure.
you 100% on that. All right, so I'm gonna get a couple more in here. So, what do you think? How do you think the gear impacts the artist's performance? So you're in the studio, you're running control, you're running headphones, you're giving them some compression, a little confidence reverb, you know, sometimes on the vocals, right? How do you see a change in the way the artist performs based on the gear you use?
Well, personally, one of the very first sessions I had at Warm, the artist, she was getting over a vocal cord injury. No, an ear injury.
Oh, yeah.
And she sings, she's a singer. And so I noticed once she heard herself on there, and we did a couple of runs, and I played it back for her, she heard the sound, she's like, oh, this sounds really good. So then all of a sudden, she's not scared no more, she's not tiptoeing around,
Yep.
and now she's ready to get to it. And she loved it, like she wrote back out to Lori, she said, hey, what did AK use on a vocal? What was the vocal chain? I like that, I want to hear it again. And she came back, used it again, loved it. And that was just hardware. It was no mixing, no plugins, nothing. Just literally recorded.
Yep.
And it was perfectly how she wanted it.
Yep.
One of the things I like doing when I get to sessions, I like setting up 3 different mics, 3 different vocal chains,
There you go.
and I let them actually test it out in 3 different situations,
Yep.
and I let them pick the best one to actually kind of fit their vibe and what they like. They get excited. They might try the 8000, it might be okay, but then they might get on the 47 and they just fall in love with how I got the 47 and the vocal chain. That'd be the one that we use for the session.
Yep.
So it's just about giving the artists different varieties and options just to make them feel comfortable, to get them to go in and do it.
Yeah.
Because the better they hear themselves when they're performing, the better they are going to perform. So that's how I pretty much do it. Give them selections, let them not figure out, but let them get the right feeling that they want, and they can just go from there.
Yeah. Don and AK are 100% right. I mean, when an artist is holding back, you can hear it. You're sitting at the desk, and I'm like, I know what you're capable of, and you're not giving me 100. Like, you got to give 100%, and that's the one that makes the take every time.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, we got one last one here. We want to hear from everybody on this. What advice do you have for aspiring engineers in the industry? How does the analog gear, how does the equipment impact that advice? And what do you think? Where do you think things are going? What would you tell yourself if they were just getting started now?
Be patient. Be patient and pay attention to every single detail. Don't rush the process. Go through the process. Go through the whole process. There's no need to rush. You know what I'm saying? We could be working in the studio as fast as we can, but we're working fast, but are we actually listening? We're actually just trying to get the job done and get a result, but slow it down to actually listen to what it is that you're doing. So we're supposed to be using our ears, not our eyes and hands. So that's what I actually tell my younger self. Be patient, slow it down, pay attention to detail, just be consistent. You know what I'm saying? Get out your way, let the process do what the process is going to do.
Nice, I like that.
Sure.
I would say the same thing, but you know what I'm saying, be creative. Don't be scared to, you know what I'm saying, venture out and, make your own sound, you know what I'm saying? So that's us, yeah.
Personally, I always tell people, never stop being a student. You start off learning from a blank page, and every day you can put another page in that book. You never have to stop, keep learning, because nobody ever knows it all. You can be in the game 20 years and learn something new every day. So why would you stunt your growth and you get stagnant like that?
Yep, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I love what you said, having a blank page. And man, thank God that we have the tools and the colors to paint it in every day. We have all these plugins and gear and analog gear. So, be patient. I plan on being, most of us plan on doing this for decades. So why what's there to rush? Just take your time, learn the craft, learn your craft. And along that time, if you stay in the game long enough, you're going to get your opportunity. And that's what it's about. Just do what you do when you get that opportunity. And, eventually we want you guys or the next generation to keep learning and do what I'm doing, just creating content on YouTube. If y'all want to follow me, Kris KeyZ out there, not just one audio, I say that. But anyway, but for the most part, I think just stay patient and keep creating. And you guys, everybody's going to do what they do. Yeah.
I know I'm just the host, but my 2 cents, sound like you. Don't try to sound like somebody else.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
Do you?
Yeah, where can we find you? We got yours. Let's get on social.
Hey, I'm on a lot of platforms, but yeah, hey, it's Kris KeyZ. It's plug time. No, but Kris KeyZ, KRISKEY with a Z on the end. That's on all socials, but right now we're doing a lot of stuff on YouTube and also on TikTok for sure. Warm. Yeah, for sure. Anybody that's in the area in Texas, be sure to look us up. Come on, take a tour of the studio. But if you also want to book us, go to the Warm Audio Studios homepage, and you'll see engineers. You can book us there.
warmaudio.studio.
warmaudio.studio.
By the way, if you want to fly out, you want to ball out, you can do that too. You don't have to be local.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
We do tours all the time.
Yeah.
This is the person you want to talk to right here. Lori, Miss Lori Martin.
Yeah.
Studio manager.
The best manager in the game.
Where can we find you, AK?
You can find me at AK Luck 601, AKLUCK 601. Well, 601. Sorry.
How you guys doing, man? So you can find me, just Google me. George Pettus, Pettus. Just Google me.
Google.
You
out there.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
You out there.
I'm out there.
Sure. You can find me on Instagram everywhere. Don Salute, DON Salute. That's where it's at. So looking forward to meeting everybody, seeing what we got going on.
Thanks, y'all. This has been great. Really appreciate it.
It's a wrap, and we out.
Yeah.
Kris.
Yeah, maybe a little time.
Kris on one today.
Cool, man.
Go get some shots. Shots on them while they talk.
What's up, man?
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you again, bro.
Yes, sir. You too.
Yeah, man. Shit. Y'all got some good food and rest last night, hopefully?
Oh, yeah.
That's what's up, man. What's up, man? How you doing, bro? Good to see you, man.